Hi, my name is Andrea Murphy, and I'm one of the librarians at Delaware State University's William C. Jason Library. And in this brief tutorial, we're going to go over how to locate ebooks on the library's catalog, on the library's website. And there's a couple of different ways that we can search for ebooks. So we want to make sure that you know how to find or locate resources that you'll need for your research, okay? So let's start with I want to start with a quick reminder about how to be in contact with us if you have other questions. So I'm on the main library page here, and if you scroll down, there's a couple of different ways you can reach out to us. One is through library chat, and then there's another option here under Contact Us, where I'm going to click on that so that you can see some of the information that's available for you. So there's what our hours are, and there's a way to contact us via phone. If you have some general questions, you can call our front desk and someone will direct you to the appropriate librarian or be able to help you right on the phone there. And also you have an option to email us, libref@desu.edu for general questions, and along with for interlibrary loan concerns or questions, there's an email there as well. Okay, so there's a couple of different ways that you can be in contact with us if you have further questions or just need some information. I'm going to take you back to the main library page, and also just want to mention that many of our resources, you will need your library barcode to access, to log in. So if you have your library barcode, which you will find on your DSU student ID, it's right underneath your name, and it's that 14-digit 221 number that you'll need to be able to sign into the databases, to be able to use some of the ebooks and the different resources that you'll have access to off campus. All right, but you'll get to see what that looks like, how to log in as we go along in our search today. So we're looking at ebooks for this particular session, and we're going to focus on a couple of different ways to access those ebooks. As I mentioned, we're going to start with on the library main page, and I'm going to start with our tool here, WorldCat Discovery Service, which is a great way to look for information about your topic or about a search term that you're looking at, where it will bring up all the resources. You'll be able to search multiple resources at once using this tool. So I'm just going to take I'm going to use a very basic search term, social media. I'm going to click on search. And again, for this particular search, using this particular service, it allows you to not only search what's in DSU's catalog, the library catalog, but also what other libraries have, where you're searching libraries worldwide. Now, for our purposes, we're just looking at ebooks for this particular search, and we want to focus. So we're going to focus our search. So we're going to refine our search. Here on the left, there's a couple of different ways that we can use this filter to be able to refine our search. And I'm going to scroll down just a bit. And you see here on the left, I can focus my search starting with just looking at what's available to me via Delaware State. And that's what I want to start with, all right? I'm going to scroll down a little bit more, and I can choose what format I want to look at. As I mentioned, this is a great tool to use to look at some of the different types of resources that are available, like articles. There's an option for print books, but we're using it today to just look at the ebooks, all right? Just search for ebooks. So I'm going to click on that. And if we scroll down again, my content type, I always want it to be full text. And I also want to look for, I also want to control how many years I'm looking at. So the publication year, I'm going to choose the last 5 years, and that'll focus my search as well. Now, I don't think I pointed out that there were 1 million searches in the beginning, results that came from this particular search. Now we're down to about 1,100, which is much more controllable, right? And we can drill down even more. But for this search, we're just looking to see what's available in ebooks using our search term social media. Again, we were looking at for the last 5 years, so we know that not only is this an ebook, but it's from 2017. I know it's held by Delaware State University, and I want to view the ebook and see what it looks like. And this will give you a nice idea of what you need to do to be able to log in as well, to be able to view this resource. And this was the box I was talking about that will have you plug in your library card number, which is your library barcode number that I mentioned that's right underneath your name, that 221 number. So I'm going to plug that in. Okay, now if you have a problem, if it gives you a message when you try to log in saying that there's a problem with your barcode, please don't hesitate to reach out to us via chat, or you could give us a quick call or send us an email that you were having some difficulty. All right. Okay, so for this particular, what we chose, the book we chose, the title, it was Learning Social Media Analytics with R. And for this title, we're bringing, it's being brought to us by EBSCOhost, all right, and their ebook collection. And we're also going to go into EBSCOhost a little bit later in our session to just see what specific titles this particular ebook collection has as well, and we'll use one other so that you get a feel for the type of ebooks that the library subscribes to. Okay, so if you were looking at this record and you wanted to actually look at the full text option, you could do that here. You could click on PDF full text, EPUB full text. You could fully download the resource, and you could also just look at the table of contents as well. I think I just want to look at the table of contents. So if I click on that, opens it up, and I can also look at different chapters within the book. Another useful tool within this resource. Okay, so I want to look at understanding social media. When I'm looking at that particular chapter, I can download that chapter, and I wanted to point out also that you can email the pages, you could print the pages, or you can save. There's many different things that you can do with it. And again, you can also fully download the resource as well, if you so choose. If I wanted to email a couple of the pages, or this section, it'll show you here how long this section is. It's 5 pages, and it gives you the option to, as a PDF, that you can send a certain amount of pages if you choose, or you could do the whole section, and you can do upwards of 100 pages for the entire resource. You won't be able to do the whole book, but you'll be able to do at least up to 100 pages, all right? And that's if you wanted to email them to yourself. And you could also, again, you could print as well. Up to 100 pages you can print as well, okay? So I wanted to make sure you saw some of the availability that's open to you for this resource. And again, we started off with WorldCat Discovery, that tool, and we were looking to see what types of ebooks were available. And again, this took us to EBSCOhost, and we'll look even deeper into EBSCOhost a little bit later in this tutorial. All right, so now let's go back to the library main page. We're going to look at search results, and I just want to also point out quickly, this is the page, this is not the library main page, this was our search page where our results came up. You can also email this particular item to yourself, or you can save it. So if you choose either one of these options, it allows you to, if you choose to email, it'll just be this one resource. If you choose to save it, you could save it to a folder and email that to yourself as well. Like if I save it here, it brings it up here to my items, and I can click on that, and actually this item is selected. I can email it to myself as well and get an idea if I wanted to use this at a later date, or if I just wanted to see what was available in my topic. All right, I'd like to point that out. Okay, now I am going to go take you back to the library main page. If I'm going to click up here to Delaware State, and that brings us right back to the page. If I scroll down, we started here where we were inputting our topic, social media, into the WorldCat database, where we were able to, the WorldCat library database, where we were able to use this discovery service to locate some of the ebook resources. Now we're going to go down, we're going to scroll down a little bit, and we're going to look here at the database list. And the reason why we're going to go to the database list is because we're going to look at the collections of ebook collections that we have. If I chose this option here, eBooks, this brings me to our ebook titles, right? Are the titles that we have in eBooks, but it doesn't give, it's much easier to look through the collections unless you know exactly which title you're looking for. All right. So I'm going to bring you back to the page we were on. You could do that either this way by clicking on collections, and that brings you back to where we were, or you could go back to the library main page and just go back to the database list, and that also brings you to this collections page. And if I scroll down just a little bit, I'm going to hit E for eBooks. And these first two items will be the two that we're going to be looking at for this session. So I'm going to start with eBook Central Perpetual Titles, and this is through Proquest. This is going to bring me to a blue hyperlink that allows me to search the collection directly at the provider. I want to click on that. That brings me right inside this particular product. This is again through Proquest, and I have an option where I can use advanced search, or I can just browse the subjects, or I can plug in my search term right here. And I'm going to choose social media. As you see, I've done this search before, and I'm going to click on search. And this will bring a variety of information with those terms, social media. All right. Now 186 results came up, and that seems fine, except I don't know how it, what I see is that it's just bringing up the term, the keyword social. So I'm not sure if this is exactly what I'm looking for. So what I want to do instead, if I keep scrolling down, let's see. Yeah, if I scroll back up, I'm going to, right underneath, it says edit this search. I'm going to click on that, and that allows me to focus my search a little bit more. This is like another filter that that Proquest uses, eBook Central uses, where you can filter the information again. Because remember, I didn't do anything with my years or what type of format like I did in the WorldCat Discovery. All right. So I'm looking at the keyword and full text. I'm looking at contains, but I think I want to look at matches now. So it matches that term even more. And I'm going to control the amount of years I'm looking at. So 2014 to 2020. And I'm also going to choose download format. I'm going to do PDF and EPUB, and I'm going to scroll just a little bit farther down. I'm going to choose owned and subscribed to by my library so that everything I'm looking at I'll have access to via Del State. And now I'm going to hit search. Okay, so now this brings up 22 books for social media, a little bit more focused of a search, right? So, and it gives me my refinements of specifically what I was looking at, what I chose to refine my search to. These are my specific terms, and these are my specific categories, if you will, that I want to focus on. My years, owned and subscribed to, along with the type of format. Remember I said PDF, I chose PDF and EPUB. Okay, so let's see. Killing African Americans, police and vigilante violence as a racial control mechanism. Interesting. Remember what I put in? I put in social media. So this looks like it's still looking at just a keyword, as you saw. So I still need to be even more specific, all right? But let's see, since I've brought this list up, let me see what's available in these titles. I want to make sure you know what it looks like using eBook Central. You have an option to download the full download. You can also read it online. You have an option to just look at the table of contents, and you can add it to your bookshelf. All right. I think I want to read it online. So I'm going to click on that option. And this will now bring up this will bring up my title of the book. And if I use my down arrows, I have to get more into the book before I can do that. So I think what I'll do is instead, let's see, table of contents. I can fully download the title. I'm going to do the table of contents so that I can see what's available to me. And if I want to even bother with continuing with looking at this book. I'm going to look at, let's see, Against Technophobia. What's that? Let's look at that title, that chapter. All right. So I can read through by using, this is where I can use my down arrow on my computer to scroll through the chapter to see if this is something I want to look for or look through, continue to look at. All right, so this might be something interesting. So how would I want to make sure I'm getting some of the details about information about the book again. I'm going to look at these 3 dots here where it gives you options. And oh, okay, I can view the book details a little bit more. I'm going to click on that. And that brings me to this title and a couple of different options I have available to me. So I can read it online. I can download the book. Oh, it gives a nice little quick description. And here's another listing of the table of contents as well. Now, if I wanted to cite this book, I would click on here, and that would show me how to cite the book and what it should look like. And it even gives me the option of the different formats. That's nice, right? So I can copy and plug that right in to on my bibliography page or my reference page, depending upon which citation format you're using. All right. So this is a nice little feature within eBook Central, and this gives you an idea of what ebooks look like on this particular platform, and also gives you an idea of how you can send it to yourself, how you can read it or download the book as well. Okay, and that's our Proquest eBook Central. Now I'm going to take you back to WorldCat again, and this time I'm on my collections page, and I was just looking at eBook Central perpetual titles. Now I'm going to scroll down, and I'm actually going to take the next one and look at EBSCO ebook subscription, the academic collection. And again, it brings me to this same page, same steps I have to take. I select search collection at provider, and I'm able to do the same search here, a similar search here in EBSCO. I'm going to plug in social media. I'm going to click search. And I'm also going to refine my results again here. I'm going to scroll down a bit. So it shows me what Boolean phrase or term, right? This is a term that I used. I want to limit my results again. I'm going to do full text. I'm going to download available. And I'm going to actually change the date because my publication year. So since it's only giving me up to 2019, this is where I'll plug in that 2014 again. And then that's the last, that's the amount of time I want to limit my information to. And now I went from, so our search results originally was 2000. I didn't point that out, but it was 2000. And now my search results are down to 892, which is a little bit, that's definitely a lot less than what I was looking at. But if I added another term, I would have it down even more. But right now, I just want to see what's available using EBSCO eBooks, the eBook academic collection, what's available using the term social media. All right. So what type of books are here? So I have an option here to look at this first title. Again, you could do the PDF full text. You could do a full download. You could look at some of the table of content notes, the table of contents, and I'm going to look at PDF full text. I want to see again what this looks like. Now, when we did our first search using WorldCat Discovery, our first search, it brought us to EBSCO as well. So this should look a little bit familiar. So again, I can download one of the chapters. I could save those pages. I could scroll through. I could print pages, and I can also email the pages to myself as well. But it's, again, a lot of different options here, which is very helpful using this resource as well. All right, if I wanted to go back, and I think I might fully download this item. All right, so gives you a nice little message here. It tells you what you're doing. You're downloading this ebook. That means you're borrowing this ebook, right? So if you needed to do that, it will ask you to sign into your My EBSCO account to check availability and download, because only a certain amount of books can go out at the time. But you're definitely able to look at certain chapters as well. You can download the full, you can do the full download. You would just have to make sure this is a book that you definitely want to have checked out to you as well, okay? All right, so I'm going to take you back to our result list here in EBSCO. And I just want to do a quick overview of how we got to this page. We're going to go back to the library main page. And I just want to make sure you remember, we went to the database list. We did search WorldCat as well, but we went to the database list to get to those eBook Central and EBSCOhost, the ebook collection there. And we were looking at the collections, and we chose E for eBooks. Okay, so this gives you at least a quick overview of how to get to the eBooks at the William C. Jason Library at Delaware State. All right, please check back. We have some other tutorials that hopefully will be helpful. And if you have any other questions, or if you have some concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, whether it be through our chat service here, as I mentioned, or through Contact Us, where you can give us a quick call or send us an email. Take care.